I brought you a chicken soup.
Okay, so what is your question?
When the broker's license is revoked, what happens with the agent's license? Get suspended or revoked?
What happens with the agent license? Gets suspended or revoked? So who sponsors it,
The broker.
right? So if the broker's license is suspended
No, it's revoked.
or revoked, what happens to your license?
Really?
It's suspended.
But
Right.
not revoked, right?
You get suspended immediately. That's it.
Okay. So I did right.
So it's suspended, not revoked.
Not revoked.
Okay, because you read this and it's like suspended and revoked, they're similar.
Repeat the question.
When a broker's license is revoked, the licensed agents in the broker's employee are suspended, canceled, not affected, or revoked. Suspended.
That's what I.
That's what I put, but in the beginning I was like, suspended or revoked?
Why would your license be revoked?
Exactly. Oh, so I did good. So you see, it's suspended, no.
Okay, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Why would it be revoked?
Yeah, that's what I thought, but that they're similar, you know, they're kind of like tricky answers that you think they're the same, but they're not.
Then you start second guessing yourself.
Yes, exactly. That, I was like, no, it's suspended, but I started doubting myself, like,
Get ready.
all right.
Get ready because that's the way the exam is.
Your mind plays games on
And I'm gonna tell you something that I will allow it. I think the part that I'm gonna have more fun with is with the days.
Hmm. With the days?
Yes, many days.
Not that bad.
7 days, 3 days, and I was like, I think it's 3 days.
Not that bad.
Okay, suspended.
What can you do after your license is suspended because of the
Get
broker's
another
fault?
broker.
Get another broker. But what you gotta remember always is what's the immediate consequence.
It's suspended. Right.
Yep. All right.
Another broker.
All right. I already told you guys that we are live, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, being live, here's what we're gonna do. Perfect. Don't forget, this is the quiz, cumulative quizzes, right? Again, it's prepping. Make sure you close the book. I just want just the notebook out. And don't forget, we're prepping for the exam. Depending on how today goes, because usually it takes longer. So today we'll finish at one point and then the rest of the questions will be tomorrow. If we finish all the questions today, then tomorrow you have the day off. But I'm not trying to rush. I'm trying to make sure you guys understand the way the questions are asked, just like that. Okay?
That's the same one yesterday.
So, and the same with the math, yeah. So I focused
Yeah,
a lot
on
on
like the 4 people.
Yep.
Because you say each.
Yeah, it's enough to throw you off.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I do this, try to make sure you guys understand the way the questions, because I can teach just a book reading and get it out of the way. A lot of schools do that. But what is that going to benefit you? For me, it's great because I do the class in 2 hours. I just read. For you, it sucks because some of you will catch it just by the reading. Some of you need other types of, or other methods of learning. So.
I was doing a few of the math homework that we had yesterday. My problem is when they give me like 3 amounts, like the percent, the other amount, and then that part, I keep putting out everything like what I have to take out. What can I use first?
Mm-hmm.
I take less forever.
It's okay to take forever. And that's why tomorrow I'll give, I mean, I've been giving these pointers regardless, but tomorrow, depending on how it goes, I'll give you better pointers on taking the exam. So if it's math, leave it to the end. I'm gonna repeat tomorrow, leave it to the end. If it's long questions, as we'll see here, leave it to the end. You can go back, so why not? Then you can take your time. Math is easy. Math could be fast, it could be slow. It's still easy. Fast or slow. But because it's most likely going to take time, because there's calculations involved. All right. So, first question. Which of these appraisal methods uses a rate of investment return? So same process, raise your hand, and I'll get your answer. A, sales comparison. I said raise your hand, I just say drop everything. That way you can use it. Okay. Sales comparison approach, cost approach, income approach, or gross income multiplier. Which of these appraisal methods uses a rate of investment return? Mia?
See, income approach.
All right.
I'm guessing.
Boy, don't say that on a live. I'm guessing.
I just figure I know the.
I've been studying so much.
Appraiser uses the income approach, right?
Okay, hold on a second. There's commotion. Today we have one person that answers and one person that talks. They usually don't do either one. All right. All right, Amina, can you explain your thought process on this one?
I know that the appraiser, I recall the only thing I do remember is that the appraisers, I believe, use the income approach. And I know we mentioned cost approach in the same chapter, however, that's something to do with schools, that's all I remember.
Perfect, all right. Whatever works for you to associate. So sales comparison approach usually is not done for investment properties, it's done for comparables of properties that sold recently. Cost approach is for properties that are irregular, like a church, a school, right? They usually don't have as many sales, or they're difficult because they don't have income, right? The income approach is based on an investment, how much income does it bring will command its value. So that's the perfect answer right there. Gross income multiplier method is used under the income approach. It's the GIM. So, but it's not a method. So the GIM is not a method. There's only three methods, which is sales cost approach or comparables, cost approach, which is how much will it cost to build another one, and income approach. Very good. And that was your thought process, right? Whatever I just said.
Yes.
Okay. So find things to associate. It'll be a lot easier, just like you did. Number two, the amount of money a property is most likely to bring if widely advertised for sale is its A, intrinsic value, B, market value, C, subjective value, or D, book value.
See?
C? No.
Okay, can I go again?
Can you go again? No, it's one shot. You didn't raise your hand, sorry. Amina?
B.
B, market value,
Why market?
because it's what people will bid on. See, you read again and now it clicks. All right.
Always double read.
Always double read. Very, very important. See why this is called test prep, the quizzes?
When you do the test online, you're gonna
Yeah, I
like,
realized I need to read it like 3 times.
yeah.
So just so you know, I mentioned in the previous 2 sets of quizzes, if you failed today, it doesn't really matter. This is just for you to get a feel of how it goes, okay? And that's an obvious example right there. One was Amina figuring out based on a few keywords, and the other one is, oh, missed that. I love that expression, oh. Like the each on the yesterday's question. All right. 3, Henry constructs an 8-bedroom brick house with a tennis court in the neighborhood of modest 2-bedroom frame houses. The value of Henry's house is likely to be affected by the principle of A, progression, B, regression, C, highest and best use, or D, substitution.
Is
Why does it seem familiar? Because it's part of 22 chapters we went through. Like, yeah, I think I've heard
Is
this.
it D regression?
Regression, correct.
Well, I think I see the questions already, that's why.
You did this question already?
Yeah, it's just deja vu or something.
Deja vu, all right. She dreamt on it and came prepared. I think you were studying. You haven't written down a piece of paper all the answers?
No, I'm writing it down now.
Just messing with you. All right, so deja vu, I love that. So what we're saying here is very simple. There's a brick house, an 8-bedroom brick house compared to 2-bedroom frame houses. So this guy, Henry, made his house look bigger, better, badder, everything you can think of to the extreme compared to everything else. Maybe in a different neighborhood, that would be a tiny house. But here, he put too much money into it while the other ones stayed where they were. So regression means, even though he put $1 million into it, his property is worth way less because everybody else's is worth $250. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Progression would have been the opposite, where everybody else around improved and Henry stayed. Okay, cool.
No matter the money spent is the same value on the other.
It's not the same value. It's still worth more than the other ones, but it's not the full potential value.
Yeah, the full potential.
Yeah, it's out of place. Think about this, out of place.
But for example, depends like there's like where it's built, there's like 10 houses. You know, all them like can be like $500,000 and his can be cost like more like 1.2. So it's not gonna be that much because the other ones are around.
Correct. If he was in $1 million area, it'll be worth 1.2 or more.
Yes.
So,
Right.
I have a question. If he added more things to the house, why wouldn't it cost more if he added
No,
more?
you will.
Oh,
Not only cost more, it's gonna be worth more than the other ones around,
okay.
but not its full potential value because of the other ones around.
Because of the other ones around. Okay, got it.
So, we probably already heard this, but it's the same for people. You want to shine? Stay around people that are shining,
Yeah, gotcha.
okay?
Hang around the wrong people, you're a reflection of them.
So your life will be very much your thing. And I'm not saying change your friends, just change the people you're hanging out with. Your friends are still your friends. Like my best friends is still who they are. It's just, I chose to have a different type of life. You guys understand? All right? And you can calculate this, it's very simple. One of my mentors says, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. So if you add their salaries and yours, divide by 5, that's the average, that's your salary. I bet you. Broke.
Right.
Hello, how are
It's
you?
raining.
You look like a little kid. How old are you?
Hi, little kid.
Right? With a backpack,
Oh, it's Brian's backpack. It's beautiful, right? I know.
then you got the whole
I get
outfit.
cold. You know, Brandon, you
Anyway,
at the school, bit, doing on schoolwork.
you're gonna call me Pedro, seriously?
Ocupei a primeira pessoa que eu vejo ali. See? Let's go, Bruno. I did some.
I'm going, I'm just waiting for you.
Thank you so much.
All right, keep your book closed, get a piece of paper.
Again,
Yeah, keep your book closed, that's what you're doing. You have a piece of paper?
I have a book bag. I have everything. So,
All right. Next question. For appraisal purposes, depreciation is related to A, capitalization, B, substitution, C, obsolescence, or D, comparison. Amina?
Obsolete?
All right, get out of here.
Yeah.
C, obsolescence. Yes, because depreciation because depreciation,
What trick you use? I need to know.
right? I don't know what she was drinking before class.
Let me know what you did before going to bed.
All right, so depreciation is the loss of value, right? For functional reasons, physical reasons, or external reasons, right? So there's physical obsolescence, functional obsolescence, and external obsolescence, all right? So again, for appraisal purposes, depreciation relates to obsolescence, okay? Questions? No.
Just a weird name, but.
Obsolescence? Yeah, just look at the weird name then. In the
I'm
exam,
gonna remember it that way. Every time I see that word, I'm gonna be like, is this one?
it might not be the correct one. There's a lot of weird names that will pop
Oh
up.
my God.
Oh, yeah.
All right, a stadium will best be appraised using the cost approach, income approach, sales comparison approach, or reconciliation approach. Amina?
A.
A, cost approach.
And I only remember that because you just explained.
Because I just explained it. Yeah. I just explained that one, so that's why I looked at her right away, right? All right.
Okay, you have come to send.
And then from there on, you answer nothing else. You don't know how frustrated she was in the previous quizzes, because everybody else was raising their hand faster, and I saw your face like, not on time. No.
She
not
came
this.
prepared today.
Today she came prepared. Okay. 6. The comparative market analysis that broker body furnishes to a home seller is somewhat similar to a cost approach appraisal, income approach appraisal, sales comparison appraisal, or certified appraisal. The comparative market analysis that a broker body furnishes to a home seller is somewhat similar to a cost approach appraisal, income approach appraisal, sales comparison appraisal, or certified appraisal. Amina?
C.
C, comps. Just look for comparative market analysis and look for sales comparison.
Yeah, the market.
Comparison. Simple. Got it? Yeah, make sure you give an opportunity for everybody else to answer.
Yeah.
She did. She went like 5 minutes.
No, I went 5 minutes without answering her in here, right? I was even looking this way to see if anybody else would answer. Like, I'm ignoring the hand. The IRV formula, we mentioned this yesterday, is particularly useful in calculating A, depreciation, B, market value, C, external obsolescence, or D, capitalization rate. All right?
Oh my God.
You're raising your hand or the pen only?
I don't know.
Say it.
B.
D as in boy, as in David, yes. D as in David, yes. Correct.
Oh my God.
Say again. Income rate value. We talked about cap rates yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
All right. It says that the amount of money that a property brings determines the value. But there's a percentage to it. It's the rate of return. That is the capitalization rate. All right. So IRV formula is particularly useful in calculating the capitalization rate. All right.
Yeah.
8. The location of property and the public's preference for certain locations is known as external obsolescence, substitution principle, highest and best use, or situs, or situs. You did not raise your hand.
Sorry.
You did not raise your hand, so you're both eliminated. Amina, you gotta raise your hand.
But
Can't hear you. Raise your hand.
A.
Nope.
C.
What is it? D. Situs, situation, situated, where the property is located.
Yeah.
Okay? So, make sure you guys raise your hands, and it's okay to fail.
It's not.
I will not accept answers unless I see the hand up in the air.
I usually remember because of the weird.
I have a problem with him.
Use the other one. When one investor manages a real estate partnership and takes on full liability for any losses, while the other investors are silent partners who cannot lose more than their investment, The enterprise is organized as A, general partnership, B, real estate investment trust, C, limited partnership, or D, pyramid. I thought you had a problem with that.
See,
Go.
it's B.
B as in boy? Wah, wah, wah. No.
That's wrong. Is it?
Look at what it says. There's, wait. Look at what it says. I'm going to read it again. And do not throw answers unless I ask you to answer. Okay? When one investor manages real estate partnership and takes on the full liability for any losses, while the other investors are limited, right? They're silent partners, they're limited, who cannot lose more than their investment, they're limited. The enterprise is organized as?
General partnership.
I did not?
It don't say while other investors are limited.
No?
No,
No.
I used every word possible. Go.
women,
It's C, limited partnership. If they're silent, they're limited.
you talk about this building.
You know what, I was looking for
Give the
silent part.
example of this building,
I
right?
was
No.
looking for that.
That's a syndication. Here's what I said. Let me translate.
That's right.
Investor manages real estate partnership and takes full liability. That's a general partner because they manage, they take action, they're voicing, right? And if anything goes wrong, I take the hit. That's a general partner. But then it says that the other partners are silent, meaning they cannot say anything towards the operations of the business. And it also says that all they stand to lose is what they're put in. So they're limited in liability as well. They're limited on their say towards the activities of the business, and they're limited on the loss. That's why I kept on going limited. What limitates them? Being silent and cannot lose more than what they put in. Limited liability. You got it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Next. Personal property is transferred by using the regulations of the A, Real Estate Commission, B, Statute of Frauds, C, Securities and Exchange Commission, or D, Uniform Commercial Code. Personal property is transferred using the regulations of. A minute.
D?
Which one?
D?
D as in David?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uniform Commercial Code, mostly known as Article 6 or Bulk Transfer Act. That's the section of the Uniform Commercial Code that handles personal property. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. What is Article 6? What is it to protect you of? Anybody? What is it?
Fraud.
Fraud. Absolutely. What kind of fraud?
Like, remember when you say like.
No, I remember. I'm just,
No. Just like when you, let's say, if I say, if I signed the deed and was not notarized, and that person maybe.
doesn't fall under that. We're talking about, so it's personal property. Deed is real property. Well, personal property is like these items: the projector, the camera, tables, the chairs. But it is towards fraud. It's to prevent the seller from committing fraud. It's to protect the creditors that you owe money to. So at the sale of a business, we have to notify the creditors, hey, there's a sale occurring. And the buyer says, I'm the one buying. I know we owe you money. Is this the true value that we owe? So to protect the buyer and to protect the creditors. That's what the Article 6 or Bulk Transfer Act is about. Okay? Yep. Mainly the creditors there. All right. 11. A real estate license is required for business brokerage. A, in no case. B, when any real estate is involved. C, only when more than half of the value of the business is in real estate, or D, even when no real estate is involved? Raise your hand, do not answer. Raise your hand. You're half raised and down. Yes. Yes, correct. B, as in boy. The only time that a real estate license is required is if real estate is involved. I don't need to read the rest. Real estate license, if real estate is involved. If no real estate is involved, why would we need a license? Right? So you didn't need the whole sentence there. Real estate license is required every time. That was the first sentence, right? In the very first chapter. Okay? 12. When property is exchanged, any cash given to even out the exchange is known as A, marginal tax, B, appreciation, C, boot, or D, bulk transfer. There's an exchange, yes. No, we're talking about exchange. Nope.
Which one you said?
Oh, no, this doesn't go like that. No. Your answer?
I said B.
What is it?
Yeah.
B.
That's what she
That's
said.
what she said?
Yeah,
Oh,
literally.
okay.
Can I try again?
No, you all three said D.
No, I said B.
You said B and
No?
C. That's correct. All right, so here's the thing. Exchange, right? Exchange is where you give me something in exchange for something else. In this case, we bought a property, appreciated in value, and we sold the property. But we sold it to somebody that was willing to buy our property in exchange for their property. So there's exchange of properties, right? If we rolled the money over to the next property, but we did not use all the money, some money came to my pocket. I kept on saying this when the CPA was here. I kept on saying, if money's taken out of the transaction to my pocket, it's booted out of the exemption. Because in an exchange, if there's no profit, immediately profit, then you don't pay taxes this year. You don't pay taxes next year. You don't pay taxes until you sell the second property. But anything that goes to your pocket immediately is taxed. It's booted out of the exemption. Okay? 13. When Betty exchanges her shopping plaza for Harold's apartment house, which is of equal value, tax on the accumulated gain on Betty's plaza is A, eliminated, B, deferred, C, calculated at alternative minimum tax rates, or D, figured at favorable capital gain rates.
D.
What is it?
D.
D. D as in David?
Yes.
No.
B.
B as in boy. These are investment properties. It doesn't say it's Harold's home. It's an investment property. It's an apartment house. So it says already investments or income property. So for an exchange to occur, they must be of equal value and same purpose. So in this case, Betty exchanged with Harold equal value. Therefore, the taxes on the profit are deferred. Okay, you don't have to pay now. I just explained the previous question, didn't I?
That was like 10 minutes ago.
It was actually a minute ago. You got confused with what? Apartment house?
No, remember when you say like if you're, let's say with the mall and something like tax, like one month you pay more than the other? Like the months that you make more money and the other ones you make
Oh,
more.
okay. No, yeah, this has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, that's why I got confused. That's why I didn't go for D.
Gotcha. So don't forget, this is an exchange.
Yes.
So there's a sale. Has nothing to do with what's monthly or what's weekly or yearly.
Correct.
When you see exchange, it's the sale of a property in exchange for another property. I'm giving you my phone, you're giving me your phone.
So the tax is covered. Can you do that?
Wait a minute.
So the first, so the taxes are already, if it's an equal exchange, the taxes are covered.
No, what it means is you didn't have immediate gain. It's like you still own the first property.
Oh, gotcha.
You only get taxed when you sell the property. So if you didn't exchange, where's your profit? There's no profit yet. Because with the next property, when you sell 10 years later, you might have a profit, you might have a loss. So what they're saying is, you sold this one in exchange for this one, but you didn't take the money to your pocket.
Okay.
You rolled over. And now, as it goes, it's still there. Your liability on that tax, on the capital gains is still there. But when you sell, is it going to be an additional profit or is it going to be a loss? The fact that you rolled over is what makes it tax deferred. Deferred just means not now, later.
Okay.
Okay? The term deferred is not now, later.
You still pay, you just delay the payment.
Correct. Got it? Yes? Just remember, there's a lot of investment products like that. They all fall under the same categories. When we talked about exchanges, this is the same thing with your 401k. You got out of your job, you go to a different job, you have up to 6 months to roll everything into another 401k or equal product, equivalent product, I'm sorry. Okay, it happens the same way. These are investments. So this tax section is for exchanges. So you don't have to pay taxes now. There's 3 different types of products: tax now, tax later, and tax never. The tax now is you made money this year, you have to pay taxes this year. The tax later is the deferred, like it accumulates, right? And it gets to a point where eventually, if you cash out, like your 401ks or IRAs, when you cash out to your pocket, you have to pay taxes on the money gained, right? And then there's the tax never, which is, I'm not going to get into details, but it's section 7702 of the Internal Revenue Code allows you to borrow against what's growing there at 0. So therefore, it's like a borrowing. You don't get taxed on. All right, so there's 3 different types of products. Real estate falls under the, if it's done this way, falls under the tax later. Okay, got it? Cool. The IRS allows up to $25,000 in losses from rental property to offset other types of income only if the investor actively participates in the management of the property. B, investor's other income is more than $100,000. C, other income in the form of wages. Or D, investor is a limited partner. Before you answer, let me read the question again. The IRS allows up to $25,000 offset. So if you have a loss, you could offset against your active wages, for instance, right? Only if the investor actively participates in the management of the property. The investor's other income is more than $100,000. Other income is in the form of wages. Or D, the investor is a limited partner. A, correct. For you to have this offset, this deduction, you have to actively participate in the management of the property. If you're a passive investor and you had losses, you cannot use it to shelter the active liability. So if you're at $100,000 and you have to pay $30,000 to the IRS, you cannot, if you're a passive investor, you cannot use the loss to offset what you have to pay the IRS. Does that make sense? But if you're an active investor in this property or manager of the property and there's a loss, then you can offset the $30,000 you have to pay the IRS because it's active wages. Got it? So active with active for offsets. 15. Any questions on that one? Good. 15. Original cost of investment property plus cost of improvements minus depreciation yields a figure known as A, adjusted basis, B, salvage value, C, capital gain, or D, marginal tax rate?
A.
A, adjusted basis. All right. The A's are winning. Andrea, pick up the pace. We have Amina, we have Anna. You guys are silent partners. All right. So A, adjusted basis. There's the basis, which is the investment. Basis, and again, this goes to all types of investments, not just real estate. Basis is the cost. Basis is the cost plus any other money put in. So improvements. Adjusted basis is the cost of what I put in minus any benefits that I had. Because if I had a benefit, then how much did it really cost me? And that's where depreciation came in, to offset the benefits. So adjusted basis. 16, the term cash flow refers to A, the same thing as operating expenses, B, spendable income left after expenses, C, borrowed money used to finance investment, or D, accrued appreciation.
Still A.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, A?
Yeah.
Nope.
No?
Return credit.
B.
Oh, no.
B as in boy. Cash flow is how much money you get after expenses.
Oh, I think it's with everything.
Nope. Cash flow is what you get after expenses. So it could be a positive cash flow, it could be a negative cash flow. Positive cash flow is if you're making money after paying everything off. Negative cash flow, you're paying to live there. Okay? All right. 17. Master plans are usually adopted by A, federal government, B, state of New Jersey, C, board of realtors, or D, local communities. You know what, I have to finish first, so you're disqualified.
Come on.
It happens. I mean,
A.
D, local communities.
Oh, federal government checked something in that chapter. They do.
They check something in the chapter, yes. But each community has their own master plan. Okay? What is the master plan?
I need to read this question.
What are you gonna do in North?
Okay, you need to read, yeah.
The master plan is what?
What's the improvement they're gonna do about, wait,
I'm sorry?
that's it, what's the improvement they're gonna do at first?
What they're gonna do.
What's gonna be building now?
Subdivisions, right?
Not only subdivisions, developments, what's going to be built,
Yes.
Why are they building?
the changes.
Why are they building apartment complexes next to the railroad, to the train thing?
Oh,
Not only what they
Market
gonna
Ferry?
build, is
No, on New Jersey Railroad and South.
okay.
That's like literally on top, like you're.
There's a bunch of them there.
Yes,
On
South
Railroad,
Street.
there's a bunch of them.
Oh, no, it's South Street. It's like South Street.
Oh, I know which one you're
It's,
talking about.
I think.
Right next to that vacant lot.
Nugget?
Well, it's
Yeah.
Nugget, yeah.
Yeah.
He bought that in his building.
It's close.
It's literally, you're like, it's like on the.
The land was there, it was approved, why not?
They should put something.
It sucks for the people that will live there.
Oh,
Is
what?
it, are they planning on moving the
No,
track? Okay.
They want?
They're
Planning on moving the tracks.
'cause that's-
no.
No, they can't.
All right. So, 2,200, right?
15,
For a one bedroom.
yeah.
15?
With the little gym, they're like gym, this and that, and when you see the gym, it's like one elliptical and.
That's
To
good.
them though,
That's enough.
It's enough. I want to see how many people are actually going to go there.
not many.
you're
To
gonna pay
live
for
on
the.
top of the ramp, no, you couldn't see me.
Yeah, but that's people who come from New York.
All right. So we're talking about master plans. A master plan is just to show the township's development. So every subdivision or development that was approved must fit into the master plan. And nothing gets approved unless it has the overall view or dream of the town. Every plan, just like your planning, every plan is about an objective. So the town has its own objective. You come up with an idea, this is what I want to build, okay. Based on our general or master objective, yes, your plan does fit into ours. Approved, now part of the master plan,
No,
okay, locked.
no, they approving works like more than many.
Yeah, MX3, that was recent zoning change, which nobody wants.
Yes, yeah.
Mixed use, and it can go up to 12 floors.
Oh,
Yes, I know.
I was just gonna say, the local communities that approve the master plan, that's like the mayor and city hall, or if you're saying like the people in the actual.
See,
Well, you have a project, and you bring to me the zoning and the building department. We look at your project, and we say, hey, this is a major subdivision. Being a major subdivision or development, it needs a public hearing. Needing a public hearing, then you have to let everybody around you know within a certain radius, depending on the project,
yeah,
within a certain radius, you have to let everybody know that you intend to do this. So that's why you see those big panels that say proposed hearing or proposed development hearing on this date. And then everybody goes there, I'm sorry.
So that's how you make people aware. Just by putting.
No, you put the sign there, this is the proposed development or
but they
proposed
approve
change.
own work,
Sorry?
they approve all that own work.
No, you only need a certain question.
No, but for the 12 apartments or the
Oh,
12
no,
next.
no, it's for certain areas.
Oh, that's good.
So you're looking at downtown, or you're looking at Ferry Street closer to the train station?
Yeah, because we have the project before.
Yeah.
The area.
Yes. That project is coming soon.
Is
it?
18. The word plat or map, right, means basically the same thing as A, subdivision, B, map, C, disclosure, or D, PUD.
B
B, map. What is PUD?
map.
PUD, not PUD. What is it?
I'm thinking POD.
PUD? Okay. It's not a pod. What is it, PUD?
The word plat means basically the same thing as PUD.
No. But what is PUD?
Say it to me.
Say what?
I remember, but I don't remember.
You remember, but you don't remember? That's always good.
Yeah, if there was a question asked, what is
Planned unit development. And if it's a planned unit development, falls under
Subdivision.
Land Sales Disclosure Act. New Jersey Land Sales Full Disclosure Act. And if it's a land sale, you have 7 business days to cancel. Remember that? Say yes.
Of course.
Chapter 1 and chapter 18.
And all the chapters, because we're not talking about everything in all the chapters.
See, and you just couldn't wait for us to get to chapter 12. 19. Installation of septic systems.
Wait.
It was me.
With me?
Yeah.
No.
You just wanted you to know.
I just wanted, if you knew what PUD means. You have to
All
know.
this time, I was like, she told me.
Installation of septic systems usually requires an environmental impact study, a zoning permit, utility easement, or percolation test. I can't hear anybody till they raise their hands.
No, that was like, oh, no.
Septic system, yes.
A environment, no?
Septic system. Go. You just raising a hand or? Time's up, next.
C.
Nope, nope.
Okay, then it's D.
It is the percolation test, the soil's absorption. Trust your gut. It's better, guys. It It's
Sorry.
better to be wrong because you went where you got than changing answers and still be wrong. Because then you get to the end, I failed, but I know I didn't change anything. But if you change it, then you're like, I failed, but what if? Okay, so go with your gut answer. If it's wrong, I'll tell you. Okay, so percolation test, drainage. If there's a flood, if it's raining, whatever, what happens to the water? Does it go down or stays? This is very important for water and septic systems. Okay, for drainage capacities. Percolations for drainage. If it's drainage, we're talking about septic, water, and other types of systems. 20. Wait. Oceanfront construction is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency, Department of Environmental Protection, local zoning board, or Department of Housing and Urban Development. Oceanfront construction, not the company. It's construction done at oceanfront. Yes. B, Department of Environmental Protection. Anything that's affected by waters or could affect the waters falls under the Wetlands Act of 1970, and that is a federal. So Department of Environmental Protection takes care of that.
Can we take you to a plan? To our license? Are we allowed to?
Can you take what?
Can we take you to the license?
Take me? You can take me, I just cannot go in with you. Take me to the door
You can
We'll
use
do
some
like the
headphones.
old school phones with the cup.
with a cup, a line.
No, the headphones.
Oh, for the girls, it's easy. Put your hair down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have-
College?
Will you be able to do that?
Daddy got, can you take your watch in here?
No, I know.
Good try. Nope.
You try, yeah.
You can take the AirPods,
You can take the AirPods?
but you keep your phone. Just saying.
Save it.
No, but it's okay.
Take 2 phones.
Because the
Just
phone's
keep
outside
one.
in the locker. It's not that far
Has to
away.
be off. Make sure your phone is off. Yeah.
But they don't know if you have 2 phones.
They don't know if my.
Also, there's camera on top of you.
Right on your thigh.
Look, you put a camera here. You put a camera here, right? And you put the headphones.
Bunch of scammers.
You
Bunch
read.
of scammers.
You read the computer while you answer the question.
And you cannot speak. If you're speaking, they will kick you out.
I'm not gonna speak. That's what I say.
You're
A camera
gonna
here
speak.
so you can see the
You're gonna
computer
speak it
and you let me know.
That's worse than a police station.
That is.
No, it is. You gotta take everything off.
21. The buyer of new home construction receives a warranty on any type of defect for at least A, 1 year, B, 2 years, C, 5 years, or D, 10 years. Peace. I don't know, what do you want?
D.
D?
Yeah.
So you did like that for D?
Yeah.
Yes.
See. Oh. You told the answer.
It says at least.
B, right?
So what's the most one?
Hey, we ran over all of them. A warranty builder's warranty registration. It's various periods of at least 1 to 10 years. So the max requirement is 10 years, but I gotta give you at least 1 year.
we
So
all-
varying periods, it says varying periods, 1 to 10 years.
We don't exam like that,
Like what?
like this. Everybody answer. Then you say yes, no?
Nah.
Well, they give 10 years or 1 year?
At least.
Various periods.
One,
So it's at least 1 year.
and that's-
For instance, windows or HVAC unit, at least 1 year. But for structure, it must be 10 years.
Well, that's where I got it.
But this is only
Construction is
for
10 years.
new.
So it says up to 10 years. The question here is,
Wait.
at least.
Oh,
Remember this stuff. You gotta pay attention to what it says. At least.
Each, these.
All right. No new building may be used for human habitation until he has received A, plat of subdivision, B, percolation test, C, environmental impact study, or D, certificate of occupancy. Yes, right. D, certificate of occupancy. All right, we got a full A's working. Right. So we already caught up to you guys. So it was Amina, started well, then Anna jumped in, and you took over. Emerson, Natasha, it's your time. Time to shine. 3. A typical developed lot sells for roughly how many times the cost of raw land? This was yesterday. No, 2 days ago, I'm sorry. 2, 5, 7, or 10. Go ahead, Natasha. Yes? Yeah.
A.
Why would you buy land? You have to spend a bunch of money developing for sale to double the value of the land. Did you make the money of the development? Probably not.
I was just thinking of 2 lots combined. And
Oh, okay. Now.
D.
What is it?
B.
No.
It's B. That much.
Say it again.
It's B.
B, the correct answer is B. 3 to 6 times the, so it falls within. So 3 to 6 times the value of raw land. Now, the only one that fits in that is 5.
Why do they do stuff?
Yeah,
Like
right.
6.
So that's your problem.
It's not common.
They should say 1 or 2.
Simple transfers. Simple transfers within the family are often made through the use of A, warranty deed, trust deed, full covenant deed, or quitclaim deed. Okay.
B.
D as in David, correct. D as in David, that's awesome. Quitclaim deed is used for transfers within the family.
Don't worry, I'm often going to say B too. It's fine.
Monuments.
I thought it was B.
Monuments. Huh?
What's B?
Doesn't exist. A trust deed is for mortgages. The only deeds that you can use here is warranty deed, which is the full covenant deed. So the only other deed within family, which is, hey, it is what it is. It's the quitclaim deed. You gotta quit while you can. Monuments are used in the legal description known as A, meets and bounds, B, plat of subdivision, C, rectangular survey system, or D, data.
A.
A, meets and bounds. Very good. Meets and bounds. That's somebody watching from home.
Can you see who's watching? Like, you know who it is?
Oh, she just texted me, so it's Catherine. I cannot see who's watching though, unless they make comments on the chat. All right, so meets and bounds. We use monuments. Monuments is to say, this is where the property ends. Here's a rock or here's a tree. Or today we use rebars. Remember that? Yes?
Of course, you are.
With the surveyor's initials. Because natural objects can be changed or removed.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Do I have to tell you the actual sentence? I can. All right.
You have to,
Huh? I didn't hear what you said. All right, 26. Rectangular survey system is used in A, New Jersey only, B, all 13 original states, C, areas where usual surveying is difficult, or D, Midwest and Western states?
No idea.
Camila?
B.
D as in David, that is absolutely correct.
Thank you.
The rectangular survey system or government survey method is not used in New Jersey nor in any of the original 13 states. It was created in 1783 as they moved westward. The pioneers moved westward. Very good. Huh?
I remember, I just like pioneer.
I knew when you said about 13 original.
There was something about it, right? That's why you had it right. The government has established benchmarks to aid A, land developers, B, title companies, C, surveyors, or D, grantees. Benchmarks. What are benchmarks?
B.
What are benchmarks? They're points of reference. Raise your hand. The government has established benchmarks or points of reference along the way to aid.
What's the answer?
Everybody?
C.
C, surveyors.
Wait, can you explain that?
Yes. When we survey the land, it's for us to find out the measurements of the property. And another thing we do is also distances. One of the things we measure is elevations. Elevations based on datum, and datum could be miles away. So they use benchmarks, reference points along the way, so that we can point at those local ones versus one that's miles away.
What chapter is that? Gotta read that again.
Gotta read that again, I know.
We did talk about it.
We did.
What chapter is that?
We did AUC.
20, right?
That's chapter 18. It's under legal descriptions and deeds. 18. All right. Covenants in a deed. What is a covenant? What is it? Here.
Coverage?
Coverage?
Yeah.
No. Covenant in a deed are essentially A, legal descriptions, B, habendums, C, limitations, or D, guarantees. No?
B.
What's up with you and B's? So D as in David is absolutely correct. A covenant is a guarantee. I promise, I guarantee that if anything is wrong, come back to me. This is used in a warranty deed, also known as full covenant deed. Covenant guarantees. Then to have and to hold. 29.
No, I just saw that weird word.
You went for the weird word, I know. 29. When people speak of having a signature notarized, we went through this enough. They mean it is A, acknowledged, B, executed, C, granted, or D, warranted. Acknowledged? Yes, correct.
Good job.
Right, I mean. All right. 30. A deed must be acknowledged before it can be A, effective in transferring property, B, recorded, C, executed, or D, delivered. Yes, Natasha. B as a boy?
Yeah.
That is correct. So there's no requirement for notarizing or acknowledging anything. But if you want to record it, every document must be notarized or acknowledged.
That was the answer I did for this one before.
But B,
Don't remember when they say like notarize and stuff like that. Before, I think was, what was it?
it was A, acknowledged.
No, I said before, not now.
Oh, okay,
Remember that they say, oh, that's a different thing.
possibly.
I know you remember. So it's-
It's funny, we had this one wrong. I mean, we went over this so many times in that chapter. That was chapter 19. But I don't remember. 31. A legal description can be determined by a title attorney or A, the owner, B, the United States Geological Survey, C, attorney in fact, or D, a surveyor. A legal description can be determined by?
C.
Nope. Legal description.
Owner.
D, a surveyor. All right, this is evenly distributed. The A's are slowing down. Natasha picked up, and Amberson, the other A, is picking up. I'm saying the other A because they're women, so you're the other A.
You mean the other eight?
Isn't
The other eight?
The good A, yeah. Not the other A. Like, anyway,
Isn't it Emerson?
no, it's Amberson, right?
With A.
A and B.
It's that A.
Not Emerson. Amberson. Look at the color, amber. Something.
I'm too white.
You're too white and you looked at me. Anyway. Love when they say this. I'm too white. Anyway,
You're transparent.
I'm transparent. When I go to the doctor, no need for x-rays. It's right there. All right. They invented that word, that what you see is what you get. After they saw me, the doctor, right? That's what it is. What you see is what you get. Never change. All right. 32. Voluntary alienation includes transfer of real property by A, sale or gift, B, foreclosure or adverse possession, C, descent, or D, eminent domain. Voluntary alienation, yes. Voluntary, you want it to happen.
See?
No.
Somebody died.
A.
Oh,
A,
You want us to-
you want it. Alienation is the transfer. Voluntary, you want to. Sale or gift. See, descent means you died without a will. So who is giving the property away? Government. It's taken the way that the government decides, not the way you want it. If you want it, when you die, if you want it, then it will be through a will.
Yes.
Right? You good?
Yeah.
Looks like you're questioning.
No, I'm crashing.
You're crashing. Okay. Here's coffee.
Yeah,
33.
yeah.
The landowner who dies without leaving a will is said to have been A, devisee, B, alienated, C, a testator, or D, intestate. D, intestate. Dying without a will is intestate. With a will is testate. You remember that? Good. $34. For the past 30 years, John has mowed a 10-foot strip at the edge of his lawn that really belongs to his neighbor. The neighbor never commented, protested, or gave John permission to take care of the strip. At this point, John has no claim on the land, could go to court and claim the land, has already been the owner of the land for the past 10 years, or can ask the local zoning board for title to the land. And
No, that's just the little lady, right?
He can be,
B, he can go to court and claim the land. Sorry? Where is it?
That part, it will be his now.
Yeah,
That's just go to somebody's house and just keep.
That's like the lady with the flower.
the lady with the flowers,
Lovely
the
neighbor.
lovely neighbor. She's taking care of your yard, you know, making it pretty, putting all those flowers there, and then 20 years later. Okay,
What about if it's a new owner
you owner of what?
of the,
Of the property that's been maintained, or the property of the person that's maintaining it?
the person that's maintaining is still there?
Then it doesn't matter. I've been there for 20 years.
What if
No,
the
before 20 years.
what if the tenant came over the landlord's lawn?
It's the landlord, that's different. Tenant has a permission.
What's the-
Look what it says. Neighbor never commented, protested, or gave permission. If you're a tenant, most likely you have permission. What were you saying?
what's the term?
Adverse possession, easement by prescription, or the common term squatter's rights. All right, 35. Actually, it's 8 o'clock. Quick break. 5 minutes.
thank you.
Already. You're
Any
welcome.
more questions?
My leg's shaking.
It's 50 questions too.
It's 50 more or?
No, it's a total of 50.
Oh, yeah.
So there's 2 people watching from home now. I don't know who it is, but if you join now, if somebody just joined now, we're taking the break. Good news? All right. So you're gonna come and sit down still?
Just to sort of support and now go.
All right, cool.
You both?
You're not supposed to take the notes home. Those are not supposed to. What is that?
That's okay. You don't let me do it. I'll just put some notes here.
No, but I'm just saying, usually, I'll let you know when you go to the state exam, it's the same thing. Whatever paper they gave you has to be returned.
Let
So-
me see the paper. Can I see a paper?
There's nothing. I just put down a question I don't know.
No, they didn't put it in your office.
Congratulations, so when you took it in real estate, when you took it in real estate,
So he's gonna help us with it.
We need
I hope.
7 back to back.
Hours, 75. We need 75 hours and 75 to pass. So congratulations, son.
Congratulations, is it difficult?
It was difficult.
Yeah,
The test was difficult. It's test B. You gave me a difficult one, right?
I gave you a difficult
I
one.
don't know.
He picked it, not me.
It was very difficult.
You have to?
I got the most difficult part was to find something wrong with it, when I
oh
was.
my.
Scary.
That one was difficult.
Yeah,
But
good.
anyways.
We're doing these. But good, I'm glad it was difficult, because when you go to the state, you lace it.
Hopefully.
Please.
Hopefully.
All right, so I'm going to enter you into the system today. You're going to receive an email that says, congratulations, you're now eligible to take the state exam. Make sure you call them up tomorrow morning and see if by Saturday you can take the exam.
If not Saturday, Monday.
Yeah, but the earliest is possible while everything is still fresh.
All lunches and stuff, did it well.
See, you guys were doing it wrong. You gotta bring food right before the class. That's what it was.
You said it was difficult.
All right,
Yeah, I
one
didn't
down.
like that part. I didn't like that part. It was very difficult.
He had actually the most difficult exam.
Right?
I know, we're taking first.
It's like, this guy is so cocky.
You were sweating, you're like,
Yeah, you-
all right. I have fun with that one.
I actually wanted to ask you to give me the most difficult exam, because then I know,
No, but I didn't. He picked
I see. How many do you have? 3?
reasons. On paper. The one online is gonna be like unlimited because it's completely random. But
So did
since,
you study?
I studied for
but
about 3 days.
since I was not set up for you, you know, you took that one. Otherwise, I would have done online.
I studied 3 days, like nonstop. I didn't do anything. Yeah, okay.
The quizzes.
Yeah, the quizzes.
Yeah, he did the quiz.
So you start not just the questions.
No, I studied the book. The book and the questions. But the question helps.
Well, I need to pass this test because my sister is waiting on me to.
So what?
She buy and flip houses for her husband, and they're waiting.
Really?
We just put an offer and he didn't get it, so they said they're waiting. So I'm ready to do this.
I know your sister.
I don't know. They're a weekly section,
What?
the weekly section by Hillside.
I know there's a big section. I have a bunch of properties there.
They're, with Debbie, you know, Debbie, Spiker. She, that's what they
Okay. Anyway. So make sure you pick up speed.
It's crazy because she's an engineer, but she knew this book like the back of her hand. She didn't even take, she just loved real estate. But she's an engineer.
Gotta have passion.
I'm like,
For the money or for the?
Oh,
Money gives you passion. It's a motivation.
money can give you motivation.
Yeah.
When I started teaching, it was like, to me, it was very difficult. I started teaching investments and marketing actually for investors. In 2008 was like the first time I had like a big event. Actually, that was 2007. 2008 was my big event. This is in West Virginia. And that's when I really like, the guy pushed me on stage, right? My mentor at the time said, Bruno, you're gonna help me? I need you to teach this to them. I'm like, no, not happening. He goes like, I already told everybody, so you're gonna do it. Anyway, so I had literally less than 24 hours to prepare to speak on stage. And it went well. I turned every single color you could think of. I glad that I had a dark shirt on because I was sweating everywhere, right? Even my ears were sweating, I think. But it went well. I mean, they actually, about roughly 3 weeks ago, one of those people that was at the event with me or attending the event reached out to me. And now he's doing mortgages and we're talking back and forth on things that we can do. And it was good to reconnect. One of my students at the time, or actually the group's students, is now one of the top gurus out there teaching how to flip homes. So it's really cool.
You're gonna make that class for?
Yeah.
Soon?
Soon. I'm preparing maybe for end of October, beginning of November, if everything goes well. I can't promise yet because there's a lot of
No,
things
I'm
happening.
just asking because I might have to go to Brazil, that's why I'm asking like when, so I don't know when will be the month.
Didn't you just go to Brazil?
I do.
Oh, you wind up not going?
No, I was waiting for
You're
you.
going in July, right?
Yeah, I was going to July, but they didn't have a situation to them, then I can go.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's, I don't know when they go, because I was gonna stay there for almost like a month, and I can't lose this.
No. Pass this, exam, go to Brazil, come back, and most likely at that time I'll have the course. I'm gonna do that course ongoing, so I'm lining up a few investors and speakers to work with us for that course, so it's gonna be ongoing.
And how many weeks will be that job? That class, I mean.
The class itself is gonna be a basic class. The course, so class itself, the course is ongoing.
So what?
It's a 1-year course / partnership.
So I had to like.
Oh, this is for people that were here on time.
I'm sorry, Pedro, but I'm nervous.
Again, Pedro,
See, I'm so nervous.
your problem is Pedro.
No.
Another man for the second time.
No, it's like I'm very nervous.
You're cheating on me.
Oh, it's okay.
It's okay because it's with Pedro, it's okay.
Yeah.
So then I have to come for 1 year?
No, the class itself, the core is gonna be short. But then it's ongoing because I can, listen, if you want me to teach you like those people that do like a 3-day, here's investments,
No, I don't want
and
that
then
bullshit.
be on your own. Yeah,
Nope.
no. So the course is, it's gonna be a weekend course and then ongoing support
Okay,
/ partnership.
so that's what I don't wanna just learn like what I learned and start work out there, no.
It's the same thing as real estate, as a salesperson. We're not gonna just leave you
It's
there.
just 1 week,
What,
that course, 1 week,
weekend
a weekend.
for the basics, for the core. I'm sorry?
What is that, Pedro? Shut up.
The full year. All right, you guys ready to get back?
I can't. Eu tô tudo respirar.
I can't, that's the new app.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Ay.
You're prohibited from going outside and speaking to him again, because you come back always all flustered. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-huh. Something's going on.
Anyway,
They didn't call you.
and then calling me somebody else's name. She goes outside for 2 seconds, calls me somebody else's name.
Wow. You changed name that quick?
I'm just changing man that quick. Look at that.
Wow.
It's because I confused the
Teach
both of
me.
You confused the beard,
I think on the height is different too, right?
the height, the color.
The shirt.
It's like super brown.
Yeah, he's Indian. All right, can you go so I can, or are you sitting down? Okay, goodbye. Anyway, phone's away. Thank you very much. We're back. Alive? We've been live. All right. So we are on 35. Sorry?
Be-
We covered it. Go to court.
So it's not in.
When a person dies without a will, without natural heirs, or more distant relatives, his or her estate becomes property of the state immediately at the moment of death, as soon as the public sale is over, a year after public sale, never. It is held indefinitely in escrow.
See,
C. A year after a public sale. So that is cheats. They throw the property out there, nobody claims it, they sell the property, hold on to the money, nobody claims it, after a year, becomes the state. That is cheat. They cheat you out of your money. Prepare a will. A partition proceeding, yes. Huh?
Okay, thank
Were you here?
you.
No.
Thinking about it.
Partition proceeding is an example of A, involuntary alienation, B, public grant, C, tacking, or D, adverse possession.
D. No?
No.
B.
No. Are you guys just throwing stuff out there?
A.
A, involuntary alienation, because partition is you being forced to a lawsuit. That lawsuit is either to sell the property, right, or to split the property. Selling the property is a judicial partition. Splitting the property is a physical partition, where it says that me and you bought the property, but now we're not getting along, and I sue you for my half, and you're trying to defend your half. So we get to sell if there's no way to split in half, or if there's a way to split in half, you live here, I live there, happily ever after. Right?
So voluntary alienation. That's a gift, or what was it, gift? What was voluntary?
Voluntary was a sale or gift on the previous.
Sell a gift, and then this one is partition, and the example of involuntary.
Involuntary. So you're the one that answered, so you should know. Huh?
I just want to make.
Oh, and she's talking, I'm like, wait, wasn't she the one that gave the answer?
Is there another example other than partition that you can give?
Another example of partition? No, I can give you examples of involuntary alienation.
Yeah, that.
Okay, so involuntary, we have erosion, when the government takes away from you. You have adverse possession, when somebody else steals from you legally, right? What else? It's cheat, eminent domain. Those are all involuntary. You never ask for them to take the property away from you. Right?
So is the one count is that too? Okay.
So foreclosure,
Foreclosure.
good?
Yeah.
All right. 37. Certain property owners are required to carry flood insurance by A, FDIC, B, VA, C, RESPA, or D, HUD. D, HUD. So now, FDIC, Federal Depository Insurance Company, VA, Veteran Affairs, RESPA, Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, or HUD, Housing and Urban Development. Out of all these four, the only one that will be possible is something to do with housing. Okay. Next, within 3 days of loan application, the borrower must receive a uniform settlement statement, an abstract, title insurance policy, or good faith estimate of settlement costs. D, as in David? Is that correct? That is correct, yes. Can you hear your page? You were like, oh my God. All right. So, uniform settlement statement is towards the closing. So obviously not up front. An abstract is a history of something. It doesn't say what it is, so it doesn't matter here. Title insurance policy, that's towards the closing. So even if you don't know what it is, right? The only one that would kind of stand out is a good faith. Good faith is something, hey, in case, here's what it is. Like in case something happens, here's what it is, something for the future. So you apply for a loan and they're letting you know, thank you for the application, right? This is what you should pay in connection with the loan, right? The other ones are at closing. This is what you should pay for the loan or settlement costs. 39, an affidavit of title is signed at closing by the lending institution, buyer's attorney, seller, or mortgager. An affidavit of title is signed at the closing by the lending institution, buyer's attorney, seller, or mortgagor. Taking too long. Next.
B.
Nope. Next. Nope. You just gonna throw stuff out there?
What is affidavit?
So an affidavit is a sworn statement. Sworn statement.
Yeah.
So we're saying, I swear the title is good. What'd you say?
Is A.
Nope.
Oh.
It's the seller.
Seller. The seller says, title company, and buyer. I promise that there's no bankruptcies, no judgments, no work that has not been paid yet, and I'm not in a divorce either. So you shouldn't have any problems. Through this affidavit, I swear and subscribe that if any of my statements are incorrect, you can come back and sue me later. Okay? So, at the end of the book, there's something called glossary. So if you have any questions, no, I'm serious. If you have any questions regarding certain words, it should be there. If it's not there, then there's something called Google. No, I'm not saying the bad way. Yeah, it's like she's giving me the look.
I
Wait.
know mostly all the terms in no cards, and I never went back to Google cards. So I gotta look at
So here's the good news. The fact that you wrote it down does help. Here's the bad news. The fact you never went back to it doesn't help. Because writing down already makes a connection.
Yeah.
All right, but if you don't look at it again, connection is
Maybe
gone.
I'll bring them to New Orleans tomorrow.
What'd you say?
Maybe I'll bring it to New Orleans tomorrow. On a plane and look at them.
That's actually a good place.
Yeah. I thought it was
I did, yeah.
Mardi Gras
I work
Mardi Gras, right?
in September.
In September, right?
No, this is
It's a September gras.
party rock.
There you go. Funny words. Right? Anyway, 40. The state of New Jersey requires the borrower to be notified that A, the property may be located in a floodplain. B, the title policy required by a lender does not protect the owner. C, someone other than the owner may be in physical possession of the property. Or D, abstractors usually go back no more than 60 years. So, the state of New Jersey requires the borrower to be notified that somebody has to tell the borrower something, that the property may be located in a floodplain, so flood zone. Title policy required by lender does not protect the owner. Someone other than the owner may be in physical possession of the property, or abstractors usually go back no more than 60 years on the title search.
It's A.
Keyword, borrower. Look at the answers. Why?
Because that's the answer.
Yeah.
Well, that's very good. Thank you, Ms. Simon. Borrower, lender. If it addresses the borrower, it's a question about the lender. Process of elimination. You guys got it? Again, these are tips and tricks to try to pass the exam. Association. Simon is great, like, because that's the answer. I mean, just saying. Like, no explanation whatsoever. Whenever you ask me questions, guys, this is what's going to be. Why is it C? Well, because that's the answer. Simon says. All right. 41. In most counties, not all, but most counties, public records are maintained by the A, local bar association, B, title insurance company, C, Secretary of State's office, or D, county clerk. D, county clerk. Some counties have their own registrars, but usually county clerk, especially smaller counties. All right, 42. Any document recorded, well, you're the one that pushed it earlier.
I know.
You gotta, go, Natasha, go, Natasha, go. Like do a whole dance in the back. You didn't see. She had the pom-poms. All right, any document to be recorded must be A, acknowledged, B, prorated, C, prepared, or D, searched. The answer is A, acknowledged, notarized, recognized to be the true person and signing the document. Yes. Good? That's what you were gonna answer, right?
Yes.
Yes. 43. Uh-oh. This year's taxes on the property, 2,400, have not been paid, so unpaid taxes. At the August 1st closing, how are they accounted for? A, debit the buyer, 1,200, debit the seller, 1,200. B, credit the buyer, 1,400, debit the seller, 1,000. C, credit the buyer, 1,400, debit the seller, 1,400. Or D, debit the buyer, 1,000, credit the seller, 1,400.
D.
No. Correct answer is C. So, unpaid. Who gets credited?
The buyer.
The buyer.
Oh, the buyer, yeah.
Who gets debited?
The seller.
The seller. What amount?
So they don't have.
No, but it's,
What amount?
Whatever is left to pay.
What
all
amount?
the same,
Same amount. Equal amounts. Look at them. Which ones have equal amounts?
yeah,
A and C.
you said it today.
But A says debit the buyer, debit the seller. Totally incorrect. Remember, I told you, no math is needed here. What you need to remember, if it's unpaid, it's credit to the seller. If it's prepaid, if it's unpaid, it's debit from the seller, credit to the buyer. If it's prepaid, it's credit to the seller, debit to the buyer. But the amount is the same. Doesn't matter. You don't need to do any math. Just look, same number.
Why is it 1,400?
Because the closing was August
Oh,
1st.
for the year was over.
For the year, it was 2,400.
Okay.
So if you really wanted to go to calculations, you divide by the months, figure out how much it is per month. Then you figure out how many months is left. You don't need all that work. You just need to remember,
It's the same.
prepaid, credit to the seller. Unpaid, credit to the buyer. Okay? Same amount. Doesn't matter what the numbers are, same amount. As simple as that. Got it?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
44. The term proration, by the way, I just saved you at least half an hour of calculations. Because I'll tell you right now, there's 3 different ways to figure it out, and they're all going to be off by a couple of numbers. So then you're going to think your math is wrong. And you're going to keep on going back, back, and back. So principal is unpaid, prepaid, same amount. Pluses, minuses, same amount. 44. The term proration refers to A, tax due the state of New Jersey at closing. B, the costs are divided between the buyer and the seller. C, a lawyer's statement after studying an abstract. Or D, debits and credits to buyer and seller.
D?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
You know what I said?
What you were going to say.
Okay. You realize?
Yeah.
So B.
B. So, I read lips. The only time I had to watch TV when I was younger was after hours, so no noise. Huh? Hey, listen. I was young. So B, the costs, proration, costs are fairly divided between the buyer and the seller. Good? All right. 45. The information about property is in the public records. A potential buyer is assumed to know all about it through the principle of A, constructive notice, B, evidence of title, C, proration, or D, respa. If information about the property is in the public records, meaning available, The potential buyer is assumed to know all about it through the principle of A, constructive notice, B, evidence of title, C, proration, or D, RESPA.
B.
D.
Nope. Hey,
Come on, Bruno.
there's constructive notice, there's actual notice. Do you guys remember? Come on, you should have been the first one to answer. You guys remember that I wrote something on my tablet and I forced the volunteer to come up here? Right? To the rest of the world, it was constructive notice. It's available. That's the principle. It's available. And in the state of New Jersey, it is the duty of the borrower or the purchaser to go research public records to have actual notice. So the principle is it's available. That's constructive notice. It's available. Okay? As far as the other ones, evidence of title is you've searched the records and you have the records. It's not a principle, it's the actual job done. Proration is adjustments of numbers, so it doesn't matter. And RESPA is just an act, not a principle. Okay? So there's actual notice, there's constructive notice. Constructive is available, actual is what you know. Okay? 46. Ooh. Calculators. You don't have that? There's plenty over here. Not phones, calculators.
Ay, ay.
Uy, uy.
Verdade,
that was one
assim, já levantaram. Não, isso.
Don't worry, you're good. You want it?
Yeah, these are.
Come on, it was right to your hands. It was right to your hands.
It's my fault, it's not your fault.
You didn't need yet, did you?
Thank you. Sorry.
You have yours, you have yours.
Sorry.
Fine, we'll use mine. All right, question is, salesperson Jim lists a house for $200,000 with a 7% commission.
Okay.
The seller accepts an offer of $185,000 from a buyer produced by a cooperating firm. So the buyer came from somebody else, not our agency. Jim's broker splits the commission 50-50 with the other company.
Okay.
If Jim receives 60% of commissions and his company keeps 40%, how much does he receive?
Okay. Let's see. 6%.
I'm gonna let you do the math and then I'll give you the answers.
Okay, come
Come on.
on. Okay. Okay.
Whoever's watching, drop me a hello here on the live chat, please. Got 2 people watching.
Okay.
Unless you're on a full screen
Okay.
or the phone.
All right. I did.
You did it? Good.
Okay, wait.
I'm waiting. I don't want answers yet. No answers.
Shush.
Why are you
My
nervous?
God.
You guys know the exam tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Bruno, que não vai.
I'm just messing with you. All
What
right.
is the exam?
All right. So Kathy just said she's watching. Cool. And there's somebody else. There's 2 people watching. One just ran away, apparently. Like, oh my God, they see me.
When is the exam?
Are you guys done?
No.
Okay. Thursday. Or it could be sooner. Yep.
Will we just come in that time, Thursday at 6 o'clock?
You have to be here by 6:30. I'm gonna start the exam no later than 7. If you come after 7, you will not come in. No, 6:30. All right, so somebody came back to the live. Just say hello in the chat. Whoever it is. I'm trying to identify who's there.
Yeah, I'm doing
Francis, possibly.
I mean, it's not only.
It's funny, I say somebody came on the chat and they disappear right away. Like,
it.
Okay, you can go back.
fine, don't say anything anymore.
Let's go, Bruno.
You sure? You guys ready?
Yeah,
All right.
go ahead, give the answer.
A, 2590. B, 2800. C, 3885. Or D, 4200. Is that what you have? C or no?
See,
Oh, C.
Wait, can you explain that real quick?
Huh? Correct answer is F.
It's the A.
C. Did everybody get?
No, I didn't know.
You didn't give it a try? Thank you. So let me ask you. The house is listed for 200,000. But it's sold, or offers accept at 185. Which number do we use? 200 or 185?
185.
Okay, cool. Now it says that the commission is 7%. So you got to figure out what's 7% of.
185.
Go ahead. What you got?
12,950. Oh,
12,950?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it says, hey, Weichert brought the buyer to Remax, and they split 50-50. So that means that my broker keeps 50% of the 12,000. So how much?
6,475.
6,475. But then it says, my broker keeps 40%. So how much did I get? 60%, which is,
38.
got it?
I'm sorry, hold on. Okay, so the locus.
Cut is 40.
50/50
Oh, yeah.
of 12,950, so that's 6,475. Then it says Jim gets 60% of that.
Yeah.
So it'll be 6,475 times 60%.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay, I'm also talking.
Yep. Cool. Because they're asking how much you kept, not how much the,
Some money.
okay? 47. Keep your calculators out. Martha receives $100,000 in cash from the sale of her house. After paying off a $120,000 mortgage, $5,600 in closing costs, and a 6% broker's commission, how much did the house sell for? We just did one of these before, right? The pie. There you go, the pizza pie. Cool. I'll give you a minute on that. Go get some water. Damn, somebody always makes a mess with the sugar. What's wrong with you guys? Is you? I have ants over here. I'm gonna call you.
Today, not the other.
Or uncles, I don't care who it is. Aunts or uncles, one of them. So we have an anonymous viewer. Came back. You done? Don't forget, $100,000 that Martha receives, the seller, is the net.
Say again, Bruno?
Net.
One.
So remember, there's your paycheck, which is gross, the amount you wish will come to your pocket. But then there's deductions, and those deductions get you to net, which is the amount you get in your pocket. In the sale of a house, there's the net, which is $100,000, how much the seller took home. They're asking, what was the gross? So before expenses, before commission, what was the total sales price? You got it? I'll get back to you in a second.
Okay,
Make sense?
now, but that's all right.
Love it. No, that's all right. Who cares? You're all happy that you got the input? All right. You want to do a little dance? Pizza. All right. Slice now. How much is left?
You take a slice from pizza. How much is left?
The rest of the pie. She's got that ear to ear smiling. Love it. It's like I got one. You gonna play the calculator?
I didn't pretend so pretty good.
I didn't.
Ready?
Yep.
Yes? So, A, 225,600. B, 239,136. C, 240,000. Or D, 254,400. Right?
C.
C, the correct answer is 240,000. How did we get there? The question is, Martha receives 100,000 after paying 120, after paying 5,600, after paying commission, right? So that means we need to reverse. If this was after, then there was deductions. We need to add those deductions. So 100,000 plus 120,000 is 220,000 plus 5,600 in closing costs. 225,600, right? So that is the amount after commission. Can we use the 6% commission?
No.
No,
No, because we don't have the full sales price nor the commission value. So we need to go back to the pizza pie. We took 6% slice. How much was left? 94%. Well, 225,600 is 94% of 240,000. Got it?
Repeat that?
That was a lot of,
No, the last part.
oh,
200 and.
I said, so the 100,000 plus the 120,000 plus the 5,600 is 225,600, right? Okay. So 100% minus 6% is 94. That's what we have. We have 225,600 5,600. That's the 94% of the total. So if you do 225,600, okay, divided by, so steering wheel, divided by 94.94, the answer is? That's why you use the steering wheel, to know when to divide and when to multiply. Got it? Yes? Next. Keep your calculators out. A house with replacement costs of $170,000 is insured for 80% of its value. Insurance costs 0.75 per $100. How much is the annual premium? This is similar to the tax question we did the other day. Well, yesterday, sorry. Hold the table for you.
Wait. Really?
Sorry. All the table for you. Johnson. So the books for the next class will just shipped. Not that it matters. Just want to distract you for a second.
You won't be.
I'm sorry?
You won't be here for that, hopefully.
Yeah, well, not, but if you have to come back, it's also okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm gonna make the explanation of that.
Yeah.
And then you'll explain this one.
You're gonna need to explain this one? A house with replacement cost of $170,000
Mhm.
is insured for 80% of its value.
Mhm.
Insurance costs 75 cents for every $100.
Mhm.
How much is the annual premium?
I'm gonna give it a try.
Cost will be part or base.
Say again?
Cost will be part or base.
Um, you might have to do two steering wheels.
Mhm.
Step one, step two. Uh-huh. Good. Almost there. If it was taxes, it would say assessed value. Says insurance, says insurable value. Ready? Who said you could be on your phones?
Oh, because you are in the phone.
Well, I can because I'm waiting.
I'm waiting too.
Seriously. All right. A, $136. B, $1,020. C, $1,275. Or D, $1,360.
B.
B is the correct answer. Okay, so I told you that the house is insurable at 80% of its value. So the first step is doing the steering wheel and figuring out what's 80% of 170,000. That's the first step. Just like the taxes one yesterday. First thing is 80% of 170,000.
And the 170,000 go,
If you're in a steering wheel, what do you think that is?
I put it on.
Yeah, that's value.
It's only insured for 80%.
That's why I need to figure out what's 80% of it.
136.
Okay, 136.
136,000. That's the insurable value. If this was taxes, it would be the assessed value. Okay? That's why I compare it to the one from yesterday. The next step is figuring out what's 75 cents per every $100. Right? If it's 75 cents, then we're talking about how much, percentage-wise?
Zero.
Zero?
No. Percentage-wise, it's
No.
7.5.
0.05.
0.75%.
I did.
I didn't, that's what I did with the board.
You did it like the book did it?
Divide by 100 times 0.75.
You can. It works as well. Divide by 100 times 0.75. Or 0.0075.
0.00 or 0.075?
No.
See,
It's
0.00 is the same as 0.00.
what are you doing wrong?
This I will do it.
So-
Okay, if it said $1 per every 100, that would be 1%, right? It says 0.75, so it's less than $1, or less than 1%, right? So calculators,
So it's 0.75%.
or 0.75%. So 136,000, excuse me, I'm still explaining something. 136,000 times 0.7, excuse me, 136,000 times, or put on the steering wheel.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Now, Yes.
Whatever works for you. As
So,
long as you get the answer,
I
right?
have a question.
Mhm.
Yesterday, we went over a probability of 80% of its value. It was something worded like that.
Taxes.
And you added 100, and you added the percentage to 100.
Oh, no, that's like when it's,
Increase in value?
yeah.
Okay, so that's the increase in value.
Okay.
So if it goes up, you have 100% plus, so one whole pie plus a slice of another.
And that's if it's an increase in value.
If it says decrease in value, okay, take a slice out. Yep. Okay? You all good?
Yes, sir.
49. Okay. This one's easy. The Simons tell their broker they have $60,000 a year income and no debts. If the mortgage plan they are considering uses a qualifying ratio of 28:36, what is the highest monthly payment they qualify for? Keywords, no debts. Keyword, monthly. Things to remember as you calculate. Good luck.
I don't remember the year.
Does anybody remember what 2836 is?
Yes.
Front and back ratio. Correct. If there's no debts, do we need the back ratio? Do we need the back ratio?
No, no debts.
No. So the only number you need right there is the 60,000 and 28. 36 is not needed. That's the back ratio.
Oh, yes, that's right.
28%.
Those are percentages. 28% front, 36% back.
I remember now. Thank you.
$5.
You cheap.
I am.
Sorry.
I am.
I don't.
Actually, even the cheapest date ever. Everybody was like, oh, I'll buy you a drink. Don't worry, just water's fine.
Yeah.
Easy. So we're talking about how much they can afford based on the mortgage company's standards. This is not every lender. This is one lender that says, this is what we want, 28. It's the calculator. Do you mind if I
I
test
think
it out?
this calculator, it's not so good. You have to change.
When you test that calculator?
No.
Just want to make sure it works.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Apparently it works.
It wasn't working before.
Oh, it wasn't working before. Gotcha. Okay.
You were giving me this severe.
I find it. I'm so sorry.
It does work.
Severe.
I hope so.
Number 7, how you doing, Fish? You good? Still thinking. Amina?
They have the answer, but I'm trying to double check.
Okay. Double check, triple check, it's fine. Yearly income. No debts. 28% max. What is the monthly?
I know.
So wait,
Did I just screw up right now with what I said?
Would it have worked?
Yes, it would.
yeah,
I'm a mind reader too, yes.
I didn't know what I was gonna say. I didn't know what I was gonna
For
say.
4 years, teaching the same thing.
okay, and
I've seen
how do I
all kinds of
know
questions,
for how
all
long
kinds
the
of-
mortgage is gonna be?
I'm sorry?
How do I know for how long the mortgage is gonna be?
That's not what they're asking.
No, we want.
It does not even matter here. Why are you even questioning?
How am I gonna get the monthly payment if I don't know for how many years we have the back?
Oh, yeah? It's not what the monthly payment is, it's the max you can afford. We're not calculating the mortgage, we're calculating how much you can afford based on your income. Ready? Just one more minute. Did you get a result? Or
No, I'm ready for you to explain.
you didn't at all? It's a two-step question.
2 steps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's 2 steps. Forgot about the second step already.
Monthly, yes.
Honestly, I didn't get the hint that no debt, so the 36 don't matter. I would have got things.
Got it.
I would have been confused.
I know. That's why I gave you the hint. All right. The Simmons tell their broker they have $60,000 a year income and no debts. If the mortgage plan they're considering uses a qualifying ratio, comes away, of 28:36, what is the highest monthly payment they qualify for? So what's the max that they can afford? A, $1,400 a month. B, $1,680 a month. C, $1,800 a month. Or D, $2,160 a month.
A.
The correct answer is A. So, $60,000, how much they make a year. But they can only afford, according to the guidelines on this mortgage, a max of 28% of that income. So what's 28% of 60,000? Ah,
Okay,
Oh.
so if they do it,
well, first you need to know what's 28%. Where does 28% go?
20, 16, where the 20.
Okay, 60 is the total. So where does total or value or whole go? Total, value, or whole? Bottom, the right. If it's at the bottom, what do you do?
Multiply.
Good. I'll wait.
If they have 7.
Hold on. Don't confuse. Let's finish this. Keep your thoughts.
Okay.
And now you have to do what? Divide by
12.
12. You got it? Emerson? 60,000 times 28%.
So every time I say this little number, I have to
Divide by 12, because it's monthly. Or you could have done 60,000 divided by 12, and then 28% of it. Same thing. All right? So remember, 2836, it's not about the numbers, but the first number given, the 28, is the front-end ratio. It's just for housing. So the maximum principal, interest, taxes, and insurance you can afford is the first number. 36, the second number, is if you had a car loan, for instance, it would be included. So 36% is the max that you can afford. Principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and car loan. If your expenses exceed that amount, you don't qualify. You got it? Here it says no debts. So we do not need the back end ratio. We just need the front end, which is 28%. We're good? What's your question?
What if they say that?
If it said debt, I'll just explain.
Oh, I totally like,
You spaced me out. Got it.
yeah, until you came back to me.
Got it.
Sorry,
You were focusing on remembering, not on what I was saying. So let's say there was a $600 car payment, right? So what they're saying is that the max that you can afford is 36% of the $60,000, right? Go ahead, calculate it. $36% of $60,000.
Okay.
Divide by 12. How much is that? What is it? 1,800. So that's the max you can afford of mortgage per month plus car. So if your car payment is $600, how much can you really afford in mortgage? $1,200.
We have to subtract the money there.
Yeah. So that means your property cannot be more than $100,000 with $300 of yearly taxes. It's a joke. Like $1,200 is really state renting. Or move to Georgia, one or the other. Does that make sense? You don't qualify for anything. For them three, there you go. Go get a car. All right. Did you guys get it? We're good? A 3-acre lot. 3-acre lot on the lake is priced at $200 per front foot. If it is 1,000 feet deep, what is the asking price?
Okay, now I need the issues,
The beach, the squirrels.
squares.
So draw the area first. Draw the area first. What are you doing? It says 3 acres. How much is 1 acre?
43,
60.
That's it. Why do you need that sheet for?
Okay, 43.
4 squirrels.
Mhm,
Going down Route
35.
35 at 60 miles an hour.
Okay, thank you.
So now, draw the area. It's 3 of those.
I have
3 acres.
3 times.
Don't tell me. I'm just saying.
Okay.
If it's 3 of those, it's 1,000 feet deep. How wide is it? Because they want to know the front foot. Front foot is the width. How wide is it? The lake is being sold at $200 a front foot. So you need to figure out how wide is it to calculate the cost or the price of this property. Nope. Draw the area. Draw a rectangle. Fill in the blanks. Draw the area. Fill in the blanks. Draw the area. Fill in the blanks. Right? No? Yes? phones. We're still doing this. I'll give you a break soon.
Another one?
Yeah.
Doing so good today.
Right? You're being awesome today. So, 3 acres.
Mhm.
Draw the square, that's what I said, right? Or the rectangle. If it's a 3 acre lot, that means the area, the inside portion of that rectangle is,
130.
what is it?
130 and 6.
130 and 6? Cool. And then the outside number is 1,000.
Mhm.
One of the outside numbers, right? So if there's an inside number and there's an outside number, what do? Divide. So 136, you said? No, step at a time, one step at a time. 131,
One,
Yeah,
Daddy.
30,000.
You get it.
divide by 1,000 is how much?
130 and 68 cents.
Okay? And then, so that's the width of the lot.
Mhm.
It's $200 per front foot. So the answer is A, 13,068, B, 19,666, C, 26,136, or D, 43,560. C is the correct answer. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just messing with me.
Oh, yeah, times 200.
You just said times two.
Times two, you confused me.
So times 200, because it's only a front foot, it's not the area, it's a front. Where are you guys going? You're already back?
Bruno,
What?
please.
These are,
Good.
what? There's more.
Yeah.
I didn't even explain anything about tomorrow. You guys are already leaving.
No, I'm not leaving, I just closed my stuff.
Mhm. All right, so here's the deal. We'll let you guys go early
Okay.
because you behaved, right?
And you know everything, right?
And you know everything, right? So here's the deal for tomorrow. Because these are not mandatory and we completed, unfortunately, we did not have enough time to do reviews. There's not even a point of doing reviews in one day, impossible. But between the Labor Day weekend, the VMAs, and I was sick on Monday, so there's 3 days that got cut off. But we were able to do quizzes and we did all the material on time. So, no class, mandatory class tomorrow, just like today. But here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to be here. As you're studying, whatever questions you have, you wanna come here, I will be here. I will address those questions tomorrow. So make sure you study. No exam tomorrow, okay? It's not a pop quiz, don't worry. But I will make myself available. Any questions you have, any difficulties you have that I have not answered during the class, maybe because of time, or maybe because you did not ask the question, or whatever reason might be, right? Just come in tomorrow. I'll be here at the regular time.
Can you do the same you did today?
Different quizzes. Bring the questions, I'll do a quiz. That's what I'm saying. Bring the questions. I'll go over it. I'll explain. We'll do whatever I need to do. It's basically questions.
So, that exam, that you have for us to do, you know, just how many of us do. And we can't get feedback, like what we got wrong or right, it won't show, right?
Ask Simon.
It show.
What about the one on
It doesn't show right away, but it shows.
At the end, like once you're done,
I receive it,
and then you.
I look at it,
Okay.
and then I'll address it to you. If I feel something needs to be noted, I will send it to you and then say, hey, I just sent you this, let's talk. If nothing is to be noted, I'll let you take the school exam. Pretty much. If there's anything to be noted,
What if I get like 50%?
so that will be something to be
And then I
noted.
take it again, and I still get the 50%, and I take it
I-
again. 50%.
Well, that's.
Okay, so let's rewind. Let's go to the first 50. That is something to be noted.
So you're gonna give me that feedback,
Yeah, that's what I just said.
and then I'll know what to answer the next time.
You won't know what to answer because the answers are random,
Yes,
but you'll have an idea of what happened.
okay.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you tomorrow, whoever wants to come in.
Try it.
You just told us not to come.
That's
Just
what
a
you're not
different
doing.
word, just a different word.
No, I said I'm gonna be here, so
But it's not mandatory, so.
just like today wasn't.
I mean, tomorrow,
But
I would go there.
I have two
But
questions.
I have to
Yeah.
Those questions?